Good morning. Good morning. What's happening? Welcome to the hottest marriage show known to man. We will discuss parenting, relationships, religion, careers, health, and anything else that can fall under. We want to give uncommon conversations the light to help other relationships to flourish through naked truths. Come walk with us as we get naked. Good morning, my love. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
It don't sound like it. Oh my God. Like, oh wow. I promise, I often wonder after this sneak peek that we gave people, like they think you're tired, and then I say, how are you doing? And you say, well, oh my gosh.
You know what? And that's so crazy to me though, because it's like everyone keeps saying, you always say that. They say you just sound tired.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make me feel good at all. But I know the tiredness came from things I've done in the past and, failures to recognize what's good and bad, as crazy as it sounds, because I was so selfish. So it just had to benefit me. I was walking the dog this morning. I didn't have my partner with me for some reason, but when I came home from dropping our son off, my partner was not in the mood to leave. And I said, I'm going to go walk the dog. And she said, okay.
No. So I had some stuff I needed to do. I was at my desk. So when you said I'm going to take him out and take him for a walk is different. When you came in, you said it's snowing. And I said, for real? And you're like, oh, it's just flurries. And then when you said I'm taking him out, I thought you were taking him out to use the bathroom and bringing him back in. Like, we're not walking.
I don't normally when I get home, you are like getting ready. It was none of that.
But I had some things that I needed to get done.
I don't totally get that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I was like, how we going to get this walk in? But I get it now.
Oh, you didn't say are we going to get the walk in?
I'm sure
you
we're
just said
gonna
I'm
get
going to
it
take
now.
him out. Yeah, we can go later on.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I was thinking about when I was in undergrad and when I got an opportunity to pledge my beloved fraternity. And one of the things they said was no shortcuts. And I was just thinking about how I thought I understood no shortcuts then. I can tell you then when it's like no shortcuts meant like no cheating. I guess if you take the long route, it's always going to be right.
Mm-hmm.
But now I look at it like you don't take shortcuts when you're young because you don't know what the right way looks like. So if you take the long way all the time, it'll get easier as you go. But if you take shortcuts and you don't realize you're taking them, and because you only want to get to your goal, and then once you get to your goal in your mind, you think you got all of the lessons, and then something else comes and you realize you can't do something because you missed the lesson, because you have gotten to your goals quicker than you were supposed to because you took shortcuts. And I was just thinking, like, how I tell Dallas and Darius and Day that, like, stop taking shortcuts, because where we live, there's a lot of grass and it's like only one place to walk. And if you take the correct route, it's a lot more steps than you would by just cutting through the grass. And just trying to put it in their head about, not taking shortcuts and making them understand so that they can apply it in their life, because shortcuts play a role in how I got through school, college, professionalism, period. And it's crazy.
But I think that out of all of them, Day is not going to be the shortcut.
No, not at all. I'm just saying, but
Day is all about the process. If you show her the long process, she's going to do it every time.
Oh, I get it. I mean, and this is the thing, though.
But those boys.
Oh, yeah. They they believe in getting to the result when they see the result, not when they're supposed to get to the result.
What is the fastest way?
Yeah. They do A to B.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize that A to B didn't go that way. They made their own A to B.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with you making your own path. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like there are some fundamental lessons you need to learn that go with the long route.
Yeah, well,
you don't have to do long route a whole bunch of times, but dang, at least do it one good time.
Well, I guess if you don't have anybody to tell you the significance of it, all you're going to do is just get it how you get it. And I think, like if you think about the survival and stupidity of mankind, to come from a place of survival where you don't have the basic essentials of life, you begin to think getting those things by any means necessary is the life that you're supposed to live.
Yeah.
Like when I remember growing up and listening to hip hop. It was like live and die for the necklace. Like you know where you gotta be in life where you'll die for a necklace. Like to me now,
them herringbones used to be clean though.
Are they worth dying for?
No,
and your herringbone probably had all kind of crinkles in it.
Mine had a Greek key symbol on one side. It was smooth.
Yeah, but
I still want a herringbone.
Yeah. So tell me this, like I was
he
trying
doesn't care.
I don't. I mean, you can get one. I don't care about that. I was telling Darius, I said, Darius, do you know why I don't wear expensive things anymore? And he was like, no. And I said, I don't want something that somebody wants more than me. I'm like, if somebody comes up to me and asks me for my stuff and they have a gun, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to live and die for the necklace? Or am I supposed to get back to my family? And I'm like, it's too many mixed messages with me being able to afford things that somebody's going to want more than me. So when I look at the way that I grew up and the survival aspect of it, it can get clouded on survival in your way of life. Because as I got older, I felt like I needed to keep those things, and I, in turn, compromised my family financially, not in a way where we were dying, but we could have been way more financially abundant if I just had an awareness of that.
You know, I think that regardless of how we grew up, like, and even in college, yeah, I definitely tossed money in the air for a lot of stuff that I didn't need to have. Not so much the things somebody would kill me for, though. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Me.
Yeah. But, you know, it's funny looking at Day in Dallas because they don't care about none of that.
They don't.
Oh, my gosh. So having Darius and his mind frame being very similar to what ours was like growing up.
Yeah.
It's like we got to deprogram him. Like Day in Dallas be irking me though, because
we want them to have some characteristics that Darius has, and they don't even care.
I remember taking Day to Walmart. We were going, I don't know what we were going to get. Day, I had just bought her. This is two stories about these Hirachis. So Day has these Hirachis and Nikes, if you don't know what Hirachis are. And so they're really nice shoes, very comfortable. So we're walking through Walmart and Day sees these rainbow shoes with Velcro with hearts on them and sparkles, and they light up. First of all, she didn't know they lit up. She was like, I love these shoes.
Yeah.
I was like, what? These little $14.99s, right? So she was like, can I have them? And I was like, yeah. Now me, I was looking like, where are you wearing these shoes? Because you're 13 years old. Like, what is really going on, right? So we get the shoes, we get to check out, and I grab them and I put them on the scanner, and they light up. They said, oh my God, they light up. I was like, yes, they do. She was so excited. So think about this. She's 13. She got these Hirachis. She got Adidas at home. She got, multiple pairs of shoes. They're really, really nice. She doesn't really care one way or another. But she was excited about these shoes. And I was like, oh my God, like what in the world? I would have never been caught dead in these shoes.
I know, because we were mentally poor.
Yeah.
Trying to be seen.
Yeah. Now, second story about these Hirachis. So Day's wearing these shoes. She's outside and she steps in some dog poo.
Oh my gosh.
So she comes in the house. She says, Mommy, I stepped in dog poo. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, so I need to throw these shoes away. I said, girl, if you don't get those shoes, we about to clean these shoes. Look, she had no idea of what to do. She just thought, now the shoes are ruined. Throw these shoes away and we're going to start again. These Hirachis, they have been so undervalued by this little girl. But I know that any other kid, a kid growing up like me, we would have been like, you better get some hot water. You better spray that thing down with hose. You got an old toothbrush. We about to clean these shoes. They was like,
I think it just shows us that they're not as exposed as we think. Because if you trying to throw shoes away at this age, that means you haven't walked in any dog before.
For real. And then Dallas, he needed some new shoes. I took him to the store. I said, hey, go ahead and choose whatever shoes. And I didn't think to say a certain price. So he picks these Pumas up. And he was like, I'll take these. And I was like, oh, do you like them? He was like, they're okay. He was like, but they're $60. And I said, okay. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of money on shoes. I don't want y'all to think that. But I thought it was really interesting that he was concerned about money. He was like, we don't need to spend more than, And I was like, well, what shoes do you like? So he picked out some shoes and they were still under $100. But they were like 70. But the point was, he was looking at it like, look, they're just shoes.
And that's exactly what they are. They're just shoes.
Yeah. And so now, as a mother of a son who is now in men's size shoes.
That makes a lot more sense.
That was so significant to me.
Time.
I was like,
it's
sir,
right on time.
I love you so much right now. So, and he, getting ready for school, he was like, I just want plain shirts and some jeans. Like, he doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? It really, really is great because I think
you need some water.
I'm sorry. I've been drinking my water though, y'all. I need y'all to understand.
She has been.
But I think that he was more concerned. I think I said it in another podcast, another episode, where he was like on me about investing his savings. And he was like, when are you going to set up my account to buy? And he's more concerned about wealth and growth of his money that he has than tossing it on some other stuff. And I just think that, like, in my head, I'm kind of thinking, where these kids come from? Because they ain't ours. But somehow they are. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they just started paying attention.
Here I go again. Sorry. Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I think that they just grew up in the mature part of how we actually started, I guess, maturing ourselves. Like we kind of got away from, and in our head, we didn't know that we had gotten so far away from what our memories remembered. Like we think we're still those people, but our kids are replicas of us. So they didn't just come out of nowhere. We're apparently modeling something.
Well, you know what else I wonder is the difference between them growing up and us growing up. We had commercials upon commercials upon commercials of toys and this and that and this and that. And they in Dallas, they don't watch anything with commercials.
Yeah, no.
You ever notice that? Like growing up, they didn't really focus on, I want like LOL dolls or whatever the trend was, because they weren't bombarded with a bunch of advertisements. So tossing money and just spending money just wasn't their thing. Yeah,
I guess that plays a role. Like we didn't watch TV like that. When we did watch TV, it was like shows that didn't have commercials, or we watched movies.
Yeah, we were streaming. I mean, and even in being in Abu Dhabi, we were streaming a lot of stuff. So if they watch like, the stuff they watch on YouTube or Netflix or whatever, that materialism wasn't pushed on them like that.
That is crazy. Like how much of a significant role that played in, because majority of the kids their age in the United States are driven by name brands and material type things that to be seen. And not even the ones with low self-esteem or insecurities, just because they think that's just the way of life. And I never, well, I guess I did. I stopped understanding why we did that, because I realized I was passing on behaviors to my kids that they didn't ask for. So why am I going to create this mindset that they're supposed to have expensive things throughout their life? And guess who's got to pay for it?
Yeah.
We do. So I'm like, they don't even value any of that. So why would we spend our money on something that they don't even value? And like, looking at it now, they don't even care anyway. So it's like they have more money to, like you said, invest in their future as middle school and high school kids. So by the time that they leave, they'll have a nice little nest egg. They won't have to be worrying about keeping up with the Joneses of people that are in their age group. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I really like that.
You know, I don't know if I can or if I can't, so you can cut this out if you need to. But speaking of Dallas and his stock, I'm just going to put it out there that, you know, there are a number of reputable apps and sites where you can get your kids started in investing that are very simple. I use Stockpile because it lets me log in and then I can set up an account for Day in Dallas. I'm going to set one up for Darius. I can fund their accounts with my debit card, and then they can buy fractional shares. Like if you have Cash App, you can see that you can buy fractional shares. But because it's hooked to their social, I think it's hooked to their social security number under Stockpile, it's not seen as my income or my investment. So it's assigned to them.
That's dope.
So if there's anybody who is looking to kind of get their kids started, if their kids are interested, I'm not going to endorse one over another. I'm just saying this is what I've used so far because a friend told me about it. But it's pretty easy. Like the kid gets their own login so they can look at it. They don't have access to your debit card where they can fund their own stuff. You would have to do it. But
so nobody can send them money?
Yeah, people can. I don't know if people can send the money. I'm gonna have to look at that. But I remember one of our friends, Tracy, she had bought like gift stock for the kids through Stockpile, I think, before when we were in Abu Dhabi. So our kids,
it's not hooked to it then.
I'm gonna have to look into that. But and maybe, like I said, maybe this is something that we could talk about later as an entire episode. You can cut it out of this one. But I think that that's a good thing to like teach how you can just put your kids up on something. And instead of sending a Christmas gift, you know what I'm saying? Send $25 toward their stock.
For sure.
Because
them toys is, what's the point?
Right. And
they only play with one.
And Dallas, you know, Dallas carry around that iPad. That iPad is like on its last, it ain't even a leg. It's like a knuckle, a elbow. I don't know. But he invested in Apple because he uses Apple. He invested in Google because it's the first thing he thinks of to search anything. And he invested in Tesla because he believes that environmentally friendly technology. And so even teaching him, like, look at what you purchase, what you use, and own part of it. I think I was reading an article where this one mother, she told her son to invest in T-Mobile because they use T-Mobile, and they said they're going to get money back. They put money in, they're going to get money back. And so
the earlier we start, the more aware they can be of how to value money versus spending it on material things that's not going to appreciate unless, like I said before, they're going to use it as a business tool. But majority of the kids are not thinking that aspect. They just want to be fresh. So we have to change the mindset. Yeah.
And I'm definitely not a expert on any of the investing part, but I think that it's important for them. Like, they're going to grow out of them shoes. They're going to grow out of the jackets and the clothes and all the other stuff. And you need it.
Yeah.
But you don't need a whole bunch of it. And so I guess really getting to the point where we're teaching kids about building that wealth. Because when we were in Abu Dhabi, like every Friday was like Saturday here. And so every Friday I would take the kids to this coffee shop. And we would sit and talk about their week and just, whatever they wanted to get off their chest, blah, blah, blah. And afterward, across the way was my favorite store. It was called Sun Santa Sport. And I used to get gym shoes every week because they were so cheap. It would be like a brightly colored pair of Adidas, and I get it for like $40 US. And and I just loved gym shoes. I love wearing gym shoes with bright colors and blah blah blah. And so I will always end up over there, and I would tell the kids like, "Oh, do you see any shoes you like?" Because I knew they were gonna be cheap, right? And they used to tell me like, "Here we go again, going in the shoe store. Like, mother, why do you need all of these shoes?" And I was like, "Cause I like it." Why though? But why? And I was like, I don't know. Shoot, I don't know. And then when we moved back here, I had to give up 30 pairs of my shoes. And so it's amazing to me that they can look at me and still like be like, why are you spending all of this money? So
did you learn any lessons from it?
I did. I did learn when I got here, when I got back to the States, I learned that I had a whole bunch of stuff that I don't use. I think during the pandemic, I know I haven't gone anywhere because of the pandemic mostly, but I realized that there are a lot of things that I toted around the world from Atlanta to Abu Dhabi and back, and I didn't really use it. I probably used it 2 or 3 times. And when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I really like those, but I don't really use it. It could be gone and I wouldn't really know. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't break me. A lot of my clothes, I think moving from place to place, I learned a lot of the things I used to buy. It was like, why? Why? Because you don't need it. I think downsizing from that apartment we had to 2 duffel bags for us to come back each, and then you shipping things back. I'm like, this is a fraction. When we moved from Atlanta to Abu Dhabi, we got rid of 90% of our all of our belongings. Like, and then we cut it down even more when we got rid of our house. So, because the stuff was still in the house, my brother was taking care of the house for us. And then when we got rid of the house, we put stuff in storage. So I cut down even more. And then when I moved the stuff up to Michigan, when we got back, I pared down even more from that storage space. So you realize all the stuff I threw away is crazy because I'm looking at it as I'm tossing it away. And I'm like, money, money, money. Where that could have been. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that the kids don't think like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they don't try to collect a bunch of things, but they're about an experience though. They would much rather do something, travel, do something together than to spend money on things.
I told them, I said, if when this takes off and we have to move around, talking to Dallas, I was like, so would you rather stay here and go to school, or would you like to travel to different parts with us, and we come up with a different way for you to get this information? He was like, I'd rather travel. He was like he enjoys the interaction with kids, mm-hmm. but he doesn't feel like he's being fulfilled. And it's crazy because he loves to learn. Mm-hmm. And when I just wanted to know what he thought. I mean, of course, everything would have to make sense for anything to change. But for him to say that, it was weird.
I remember when we were making the decision in Abu Dhabi, okay, do you guys want to go back to homeschooling or and travel more, or do you want to go to school? And Day was like, I want to go to school. She wanted to be around people. Dallas was like, look, we could keep this party going. But I don't know. I guess it doesn't take being overseas or having a lot of money, though, to start teaching your kids.
Look, so yeah, I wanted it did take for us to realize it. But
Yeah.
the information that we have, we're trying to give to you guys. Like, you can literally downsize a lot of things, and you could save so much more money and use it for what you want to do it for.
But that takes so much more
Discipline.
It does, but it takes a whole reworking of what we know growing up.
Correct. That's why I said we had to move to be able to see what we were doing.
Yeah, you break from that mindset because nobody else was thinking like that when we were over there. But yeah, I think that's the hardest part because it's a cycle that we teach, and it's learned. And I think that the biggest thing that taught me how easy it is to unlearn it when you change an environment is Darius, because his family, you know, much like you before, Jordan, he ain't even watched Jordan play, but he want Jordans. You know, he understands that the more it costs, the better it is. But you know, all of that living down there and living like that and understanding the ways that we toss our money out. When he came for the 30 days to stay with us last summer or in summer of 20, they in Dallas were running around the entire summer in these flip-flops from Target. They were like $15, less than $15 each. And Darius came with some Tuna Airs or something. $100 and something shoes.
The Vapor Max.
Yeah, the Vapor Max. And he was like, Auntie, can you get me some of those? And I was like, oh, you want some slides? He was like, yeah. Now, he didn't ask for Nike ones. He didn't ask for Adidas ones. He wanted these plain, Dallas had plain blue. It was just regular schmegular. And he was just like, that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? When I took him... And with Dallas, you just buy him a pair of shorts and a plain shirt. That's all he wore the entire time. That's his uniform for himself. And Darius needed more clothes. And so when I went to go get him clothes, I got him plain stuff. It wasn't a big thing where he needed to have anything in particular. He just did whatever was around him. When we took him to Abu Dhabi, he was in Converse. You were them Pumas that were cheap. It didn't require that for him when he was around his cousins who didn't care. Yeah. And I think it takes a lot of pressure off when you just don't care.
For sure. I mean, like, like I told you, when I changed my diet, I stopped seeing certain restaurants, like a lot of fast food restaurants. So when you take those things out, it's less things to worry about. So when people are complaining about stuff, that doesn't bother you because it's not in your day to day.
Well, with us, like, not paying attention at this point, like, and then our kids and how they are, and then being able to see Darius, like, switch over so easily, it gives me hope that, I mean, if we thought about it, we could do it on a larger scale community-wise.
Correct. Like, if we were purposeful. So, like, but, you know, I think if you think about the perspective of people, you got to determine where they are in life, where they feel like that makes sense. Because I remember when I used to be into the brands and materials, it was like a different level of, I earned this. Mm-hmm. I can do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. But is it smart? You know what I'm saying? And it's like me convincing myself to say, you know what? I went to school. I worked hard. I can wear this. And now it's like, it didn't make sense. Like, now it doesn't make sense. I'm looking back, but I understood where I was. But when I'm trying to talk to my friends and telling them, you know, they say the same stuff I was saying with the excuses of why I was purchasing those things.
Well, and I will say, like, I have a friend. She's we have a couple of friends, very successful, single women, traveling. They make that money. They invest. They also spend a lot of money on expensive things because that's what they want. And I mean, you can have what you want.
No, see, I guess the message I'm trying to say is that if you're spending money on is it black owned stuff? And when I say that,
I'm not gonna say one way or another, but what I'm saying is like, I'm not saying that people who live their lives like that are wrong. I'm just saying when you're starting out, wealth building should be first.
I get so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, our friends, if we're going to do it purposeful, and if they're going to wear expensive things, make it black.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And I agree with that, but I'm just saying, like, people who might be listening be like, nah, what I'm saying is wealth building should be the priority, and then after that, like,
you
the
buy what
luxuries after that you and your family are comfortable.
Most of us fake it till we make it.
Yeah, and like, we don't have that emergency fund in case we lose our job, or you don't have anything to fall back on. Like, if this job fell from up underneath you, what would be the next step? You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, I feel like it's levels. Like, when it's when you don't have that wealth, and I don't even want to say it, when you don't have something that is working for you, money working for you in the background, or you don't have a savings, you don't have an emergency fund, like, then the Jordans and the iPhones, they're not necessary. They're like status symbols. It's a way of saying, I can have it. Yeah, you could, but I will be. What's crazy is we're always looking at people who have really, really made it, and then you see them and they're not dressed flashy. Like, you're not gonna see everything, all of their wealth on their belt buckle.
I think you got to think.
I
think you got to think about who they're looking at, because the people that they're looking at are doing those things.
Yeah, but the ones that we're to our community?
Yeah.
And so, but what I'm saying is like, how do you start to deprogram yourself to say, I don't need to have $180 pair of shoes. I could have these $100 pair of shoes, and that $80 can go to this. Or, we have the money. Like, our community are big spenders. We have the money, but we dole it out in the wrong directions, because sometimes it makes you feel better when you can dress like the haves.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you are in a place of survival, you want to be considered that I can do the same thing. And just because you make more money does not mean you're not playing that game still.
Yeah.
Like, you just got more money to play the game that the poor people playing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, when are we going to, as financial consumers of our representatives, when are we going to take ownership on how people are looking at us? Or do we just care, okay, I made it, I can do what I want to do? But as an example, when do you not look like the people who are can't afford to live like that? Like, is that the example we're setting for people that can't live like that? Because what are they doing? Chasing the dollar to make it seem like they got it.
Yeah.
So if you had a role model or people that you looked up to and they didn't wear those things, would you spend your money on those things?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. All the beautiful people of color that got money, that are influential on television, wear things that are very expensive. Yeah. So if you respect these people and you see what they wear, and you was like, you know what? I want to be seen like that. So we have to start from the top. You got to lead by example. Be the example you want to see. We keep asking these these poor people to like change their mindset, but you got to change the people who have the most influence to deprogram the people who can't see that far. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see how that to me would have that nice little effect, a quicker effect than what I'm talking about. But I don't think that they're gonna change anything up. So that's why I was asking, like, what do you do to deprogram?
Planting seeds. This is what we do. This is like, that's why I said before we even came to this, I was like, purposefully, I would like to pass a message for all of us to build. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what it looks like, that's not building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not building.
That's what I'm saying. So just a little bit at a time. I mean, as we can, like our kids, you can see that they're modeling our practices, right? Yeah. They don't care about those things. So they're going to have friends similar to those. And I think it'll just grow that way. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right. What would you about to say?
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
So as far as your kids, how we've been going back and forth on like the exposure of them, like they don't care about these things, but so what type of friends do they have? Like, I know that you talk to them a little more about their friends, but like, do you think like what are their interests? What brings their friends together? I know I should be doing a better job at the type of people they're around, but what brings them together? Because to me, like I said, when I was growing up, it was sports, hip hop, gym shoes, music, yeah.
That's, I couldn't tell you. I feel like with Dallas, I think they're all different kids for me. Like for me, it was you were in the same class. You how we were talking about assumptions. You see people, you make assumptions about whether or not do they dress like you. When you listen to them talk, do they sound like you? Okay, well then they might be good friends. Let me pursue that. Right? That's how I ended up with my friend groups. Usually it started in class and then I would watch or they would watch me and then we would just decide if we wanted to be friends. Day, her first friend she made this year, sent her a note in class and said, "Do you want to be friends?" I did not know that people did that. I was like, that's so cute. I know. I said, that was so cute. I think that's really how it comes about for Day. It's just like people come to her just because she's a sweetheart. But I don't really know, like when she talks about her friends, they might have the same music taste they'll find, or it never looks like they really dress the same. It never, from the ones that she had in Abu Dhabi. I don't know. I just think that she just happens upon people. Like Dallas, he's a bit different, but I think that with him, I don't know how he comes across talking about people because they're in his class, but he doesn't say anything in particular about what draws him to them.
I got you.
But Darius was funny this year because he was seeking out
Korean people.
He was. He said, "Look, I'm about to it's a bunch of Korean people here. I'm about to make me some Korean friends." And he would go up to kids and be like, where are you all from? Where are you from? And if they said Korea, he would say, I'm Korean. I'm part Korean. And then that would become a friend group. But he also had that other friend group he made based on a class he was in.
Yeah.
And that was a less than stellar match. I'm not happy with that match though. But they all have their own different things. I don't really know how they match up. I know that I used to just, you watch for the people who seem similar to you.
No doubt. I'm just, just curious on, what it looks like as they mature and become young adults. Because in my head as a child, I always thought that, I was going to fit in. I never felt like fitting out of place, but, they make me feel like they consciously think about not fitting in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm worried more so about, because they don't have Darius potentially could have my personality, but but the Dallas and Day, they're too well mannered and too mild mannered, mild mannered in comparison to my
very outgoing,
spirit,
yeah,
boisterous. That's what I was looking for.
Even though I wasn't as outgoing, I definitely had friends. Like I made sure that I had friend groups to be with. I think that they were so sheltered in the beginning. Like they were in that small charter school in Atlanta, and then we moved them to Abu Dhabi. They were homeschooled for 2 years, and then they were in that international school, which they found friends there that really fit them well. But then you bring them back here and they're different than, I think it's just the differences in exposure to social situations.
Yeah.
And then the social situations they have been exposed to we're international, so it doesn't always translate when they get back home.
Mm-hmm.
So they're peculiar kids, kind of. They're different. But I don't think that they think anything of that. Dallas always says that he's awkward, though.
I think the best thing about it is that they know how I feel about weird, and like they don't mind.
Care. Yeah. Well, I don't want to say they don't care, but I know that Dallas is very aware that there's a difference between him and other people. Day, she doesn't really talk about it, but yeah, we don't care about anybody being weird. I think,
I'm saying, it's a level of acceptance of what it looks like.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's okay to be weird. You know, it's funny because they're always talking about, you know, stand out. You know, you be yourself. But a lot of this stuff, like, kids are following scripts. They follow their peers. It's natural, though. It's natural for them to look around at their peers and kind of pick up ideas and behaviors and likes and dislikes. And, oh, you know, my friends are listening to this music. Like, let me listen to it again, and maybe I'll start to like it too. You start to kind of develop those things. But being weird, I think that is one of the things that's going to keep them free from a lot of pressure that they might have felt before if they felt like they had to fit a certain description.
Yeah.
There were a lot of words just to get to that last sentence. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I was just thinking how, you know, I remember when people say I don't see color. You know what's crazy is that we have a kid that I really feel like couldn't see color, and that person was like, is this person white or black? And they could not tell.
Oh my God. How can you not but could not tell?
No, they could not. And it's so crazy. We took it for granted. Like, you should be able to tell this. And it was like, they could not tell. And I was like, it's really interesting because it's a beautiful thing that if a person can actually approach you or not make those biases that we do through color, you know, and now I wonder if they could see it was their own particular color. You know, maybe it wasn't white and black. Maybe it was like, okay, this person is this shade, they act like this. Or was it literally like we're just human beings with different shades? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's interesting because just the amount of exposure, I would think that, you know, like even us, you know, going over there, we could look at people and we would automatically assume until they open their mouth and be like, oh, no, they're not. And, you know, white and black is only really in America, like white and the Western world and, you know, parts of South Africa. But like people are nationalities, and just being like white and black is like, when you go over there, it's like, man, what are you? And you're like, I'm black and Korean. I was like, huh? You're Korean, but you're black. What does that mean? Like, what country are you from?
Yeah. Oh, that was a horrible feeling. When they used to, I remember they used to ask me where I was from. And when we first got over there, it was a guy. He said, where are you from? And I said, I'm from the States. And he was like, no, but where are you from? And I was like, the States. And he said, no, but where are your people from? Like, what country? And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. Like, that historically, I couldn't tell you. He was like, no, but you have to know.
Yeah, no, that's a feeling that a lot of you probably haven't thought about, you know, because I know that we don't know where we came from, but when somebody asks you and they feel like you should know, it's a different type of feeling. Like, dang, we really have part of us that we have no clue where we came from, and we have to, and the nationality that we're supposed to accept, don't even accept us. And it's like, and when I say don't accept us, I'm just thinking about the number of things they put up, the roadblocks in front of people of color, particularly African descendants of slavery. Yeah. It's remarkable to me that people think that it's easy to be black in America. Now, there are successful people in America that are black. I want y'all to know that. But it's very difficult for people that aren't successful because we're regular people now. You know,
Yeah.
people don't know us, you know, and it's we have to be aware of that. And I this is last thing on this. I believe when America truly accepts American black people, like America will do well because American black people have gone through a lot. Like I've said this over and over. We went through so much and we're still being successful. Just imagine if you guys just, you know, like existed with us. You know, we worked together. You know, we didn't have all of these distractions that's preventing us from being great. We would help you too. Like we just want to help people and they make us feel like we can only help our own. But we only want to just exist and live life with you guys in America since we don't know where we're from. And that's difficult.
It is difficult.
But I don't want to I know that was on the soapbox. I'm probably going to edit that for sure because anyways, anything you want to touch upon before we depart?
I'm just going to say, even if you're not going to do it for your kids, most people have Cash App. Why don't you go and buy a stock? Buy a fraction of a stock.
Yeah.
Toss $5 at it. Toss 20. Toss 100. Whatever is.
Get started.
Whatever's on your heart.
Yeah, just get started. It has to start somewhere.
It does.
But I want to thank all of you guys for being with us again. Make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you.
Boom.